Hey everybody, this is a module overview for the Livewire Synthesizers Dalek Modulator. This is a module I've been looking at getting for years and haven't been able to find it until recently. And Livewire is been sort of an off and on again company. They are currently producing the Dalek Modulator. It's available on Reverb. That's where I got this unit from, and it just came, and I love it. It is a 2 oscillator device. I hesitate to call it a true voltage controlled oscillator in the musical sense because it does not have a 1 volt per octave input. If you're looking at doing something musical and creating melodies, this is not going to do that for you, but it is going to create some really wicked cool sounds. So I'll just run through it from top to bottom. You've got a carrier oscillator and a modulator oscillator. These have quite broad tuning width bands on them. Below that, there's what's called a horizontal symmetry control, and you can run these in a high rate or a low rate mode. In the low rate, you can get into LFO territory as well as audio rate. That's about as slow as it will go into the low mode. Below that, you have an input with a CV control input. This attenuator controls how much CV is going in, and this will accept a voltage control. You can throw an LFO in there. You could put a sequencer or something. But like I said, it's not going to be tuned, but it is going to create something interesting in your music. These switches below here, each oscillator can run in either sine or square wave. This control here is AC versus DC. These switches, there's one here and one on the other side. Those only affect the ring modulation output. The other oscillator has its switch over here for sine and square wave. And then the bottom are a mix of inputs and outputs. On the very left and the very right, these are the outputs for the individual oscillators. The next one over is an external input. This will work with the AC-DC switch to modulate in the ring modulation mode. I have it currently outputting from the ring modulator. In the center switch here is what's called an obey and destroy, and this has an interesting effect on the output. It's sort of not actually sure totally what it does. I don't have a scope, but it does amplify it, and I think it might change the balance of those oscillators a little bit. So we'll just do I've got this running into a filter here, so I'm just going to open the filter. This is everything is in its default position, and all of the knobs are down in the lowest position. Got some reverb on there, I'll just turn that off. That hiss is actually from my filter. This is a very noisy filter, so just don't worry about that. That hiss is not coming from the Dalek Modulator. I've got running, I got a sequence running. But first, before I launch the sequence, we'll just cycle through these sounds. switch between obey and destroy. We've got a control voltage from my speed step going into this CV on the modulator oscillator. So we'll just start that up. And that's what I mean about this doesn't track 1 volt per octave. The actual sequence that's going in there is probably got a few different octaves in it, but as you will hear, this is only changing in pitch a few tones. So what I love about this module is it's great for percussion. You can create some really wicked percussive noises with this. Now, if I take out that sequence and I put it in the external in, try a different source. In a way, it reminds me a little bit about the Endorphins Further generator, that Buchla style carrier modulator setup, totally Buchla inspired, but with the less functionality and no voltage control for the oscillators. Yeah, so let's just run a little bit of a drum pattern here and see what it can do in terms of some percussive noises. Module. That's it for today. Just wanted to give you an idea of this cool little module. Again, these are available on Reverb. If you look up Dalek Modulator from Livewire Synthesizers, you can pick them up for I think it's under $400. So pretty cool little unit. Take care. I'll be back again sometime.